Yo, what's up, y'all? Donut here with Realms Hosting. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the basics of the FiveM panel for Realms Hosting. So we're going to start off right here. I already logged into my panel and stuff, so everything is right here. So once you guys get past the login phase of your panel, you guys are going to be looking at the same screen as me. So when you're looking at this, you guys are going to see your game server. If you have other servers, they'll pop up here as well. But you want to make sure you're looking at your main server. So you're going to go ahead and press on Manage Server, and that's where you're going to open up the game panel for that server. Once you're here, we're going to start off with the first part. This is going to be the console part of your panel. This is where you guys can restart, stop your server, or kill your server if you're encountering like errors and stuff and you want to restart from the top so you can see what they are. Or if you just want to restart your server and you don't have TXadmin enabled, you can do it through here. So that's where you guys are going to locate all of this. This is also going to tell you your backups, your databases, and your allocation. So you can see that here. You can see your FiveM map that you're running. It's going to say Realms Hosting right here because that is the hosting that you're using, and then it's also going to show your players that are in the game and your total slots. Down here is where you guys are going to see the CPU usage of your server, the memory usage, and then the disk usage of your server. These, you'll see they kind of bounce around. I know the memory storage will change based off of like if I was to turn off the server or if more players are to start joining, you guys can see that'll jump up. Disk usage. One thing I do have to say about this is a lot of people say that their server is like encountering an error where your disk usage is going up. Make sure you guys go through, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that in one of the other videos, but you're going to make sure that your cache is deleted if your server does encounter an error when you first allocate it. So we're going to go down to the next tab, and that's going to be the script setup. Now, I'm not sure if this is working right now, but I'm going to test that in another video. But this is where you guys can download your ESX Legacy and then your QB Core. So you guys press these buttons, it'll install. If it does not, that means it is still not working. We are working on fixing that, but for now, this is where that is located for when you guys do need to use it or whenever it starts to work again. We're gonna go down to Artifacts tab next. Now this is where you guys are going to install the artifacts. This is literally pretty much the FiveM updates. So if your server says like artifact version outdated, you guys want to make sure you go to the top and install the latest recommended. You could do the latest optional, but sometimes it's different from the latest recommended because it has like crashes or something and it's not working. So I would usually make sure that you guys install the latest recommended. Now when you first download your server, I believe it installs off the recommended, and you guys can go through and change it whenever you want, however you feel is best for your server, so that you can kind of play with, kind of see where you're comfortable with having that. Next tab is your files tab. This is where all your files are going to be located. Now, one thing I do have to say, you do not upload files through here. A lot of people think that you upload your files through here. Yours is going to look a little different because mine has like TXadmin data and stuff because I have TXadmin installed on this server. But the only thing you really want to pay attention to is this is where your resources tab is going to be your server config. You can edit that all through here, or you can edit it through TXadmin if you guys are going to get TXadmin enabled on your server. Next tab is the resources tab. This is where you're going to see all of your scripts and stuff that are running. I don't have any in my server right now, so nothing is going to pop up here. But this is where you guys can like start, stop, restart, refresh scripts. This is where all of that's going to pop up. Scripts, vehicles, maps, anything that is add-on to your server will pop up right here. Next tab is going to be the database tab. This is one of the things that I cannot stress enough is a lot of people struggle to find their information for their database. This is where all that's located. This is where you're going to create databases. This is where you view your database information. All of that's going to be right here. This is also where you're going to configure your database for ESX and QB Core if you're using those, or if you have a script in your server that requires a database. Now, schedules, this is where you're just going to schedule, obviously. You have your schedule names, the times, day of the month, day of the week, and then all these settings for that. I don't usually touch this at all, to be honest, because I use all my schedules that are in TXadmin. Users, this is where you're going to manage all the people that are the admins for your server if you guys want them to be able to configure inside of your panel, add files, scripts. I usually only do this with like devs and high staff. So just make sure that that's where that is. Alright, backups is going to be located next right here. Backups, you guys want to get this created when you guys are actually purchasing your server. And if you already purchased your server, you can open up a ticket and someone will help you get a backup started for your server. I usually recommend 1 or 2 backups just in case like your server gets nuked or something, or you need help with that. We do have DDoS protection, so you shouldn't have to worry about any of that. It's mostly in case of like one of your devs ends up doing something, you guys have backup files. So make sure that you guys do purchase backups. It's really helpful. We're going to go over to network tab. This is going to be where your IP addresses are. So this is my TXadmin IP, and this is the server IP. You guys can get this changed as well if you open up a ticket if your IP is not working. TXadmin is a different story. You'd have to get your TXadmin reconfigured completely to get a new IP. So just make sure that this stays primary and your TXadmin is the one that's going to start with a 2. Make sure that that's always your secondary IP. Next tab is your startup tab. This you only really need to touch if you're changing your host name description, which usually this doesn't even change. The only thing that really matters in here is the artifact version, because that's always going to need to be the same as your artifact, which it updates itself, so you don't have to worry about that. Your Steam Web API key and your license key. Those are the only ones that you guys should really be worried about in here, because most of this you're going to change in your server config, because if you're doing with TXadmin, obviously it's not going to change in here. So just make sure that you guys do check this out, look over this, make sure all of this is correct and lines up with your actual server config. Next tab is going to be your settings tab. This is where you guys are going to launch your game panel for adding files and stuff. Your file browsers are all going to be right here. I usually recommend WinSCP because it's the fastest and you can actually like launch it directly off of here. FileZilla, you're gonna have to type in the information manually. One thing that a lot of people ask me the question of is the password for your files is usually always going to be the same as your account password, not the owner's account. If you're a dev, it's going to be your account password. This is where you guys are also going to change the name where it pops up in the server list for your server name. Activity is going to show you guys like changes that have happened to your server, anything that's going on, like files being messed with, so you know who's changing them and when they're being changed. And the last tab is going to be your players tab. This is where you're going to view all the players that are inside of your server and be able to manage that. So other than that though, I'm just going to go ahead and click through this a little bit so you guys can just take a quick look at it. Obviously if you already have your server, you can check on it on your end, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and go on mute and just let you guys kind of see what I'm going through. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this is helpful to you guys. If you guys have any questions, you guys can go in the link in the description. That's going to take you to our Discord. You guys can open up a ticket there. Other than that, though, I hope you guys have a good one. Good luck with you guys' servers, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.